so much, everyone. I call to order the Borough Council Green Tree Council meeting at 7:31 on Monday, September 8th. To let you know that the Borough Council was in executive session before this. You might recognize a new face up here today. This is Rick Monty. He is filling in for our regular solicitor, Jake Leland, today, who is due to our meeting getting changed because of the holiday. Jake has another standing meeting on Tuesday of this month, of every month, Monday of every month. And so Rick is here, the second Monday of every month. So Rick is here with us tonight. Let us begin. For tonight's moment of silence, September is National Suicide Prevention Month. Our community is not immune to the pain of suicide and the void of a loved one's loss. It's a personal matter that many of us have been touched by and lived through. And though we cannot solve the mental health crisis, we can be aware of signs and resources available to us all. Prevent Suicide PA is the direct source to get assistance and information on how to grapple with this topic, words to help us discuss it, and understanding the myths and stereotypes surrounding it. You can find that at preventsuicidepa.org. I have used it to talk to loved ones, families, and my children about this topic. And the county's lifeline hotline is 1-888-796-8226, and it can be called anytime, any day. So for tonight's moment of silence, I ask us all to honor the memory of those who have ended their suffering in this manner and hold their loved ones in our hearts. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Miss Demi,
Here.
Miss House,
Here.
Mr. Panza, Mr. Ray. Miss, oh, Panza's on the phone. Okay. Mr. Ray, okay. Miss Schwartz,
Here.
Mr. Tintori, Miss Barron,
Here.
Mayor Shank.
Present.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the approval of the minutes for August 4th, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions, comments, any additional thoughts to those minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I abstain. I was not present.
Thank you. So now we can move on to the hearing of citizens. All persons wishing to address general business or agenda items can come up to our podium and be heard at this time. Please state your name and your address before you speak, so that we can have it for our minutes.
Christine Short, 251 Park Edge. On behalf of the Planning Commission, I was asked to come speak to council regarding our recommendations regarding Point Park. I will go through this very quickly as possible. Dear Green Tree Borough Council members, the Planning Commission respectively recommends that the Borough Council approve the continued use by Point Park University of the baseball field of the Green Tree Park. After careful consideration, we believe that this project represents the most effective long-term use of the space and delivers broad benefits to the borough and its residents. Key reasons for recommendations. Number one, optimal use of space. The area is ideally suited for a baseball field and aligns with current recreational needs. No other projects in the borough's 10-year comprehensive plan would make more effective use of this site. Number two, strong community support. Residents' feedback shows that this is the most popular and widely supported use of the site, reflecting the community's vision for Green Tree Park. Three, community school connection. Hosting Point Park University's team will strengthen ties between the university and our community, potentially creating opportunities for local students to attend Point Park or earn scholarships. Four, financial benefits to the borough. Point Park will fully fund the turfing of the field, creating a durable, low-maintenance playing surface. This surface will provide improved access for older boys baseball teams in the Green Tree Athletic Association and Keystone Oak School District. Green Tree will avoid a significant capital expense, allowing the borough to focus on other priorities such as upgrading these existing fields. Five, savings for the school district. The partnership would give Keystone Oaks a true home field, eliminating rental transportation costs currently incurred to use Washington Wild Things facilities. They currently use Washington Wild Things facilities. And we recommend that if they use this field, they won't have any current expenses. Six, future recreation opportunities. While other uses such as pickleball courts have been suggested, these could be more appropriately incorporated at Aiken 1 and Aiken 2 during future renovations, ensuring the borough continues to diversify recreational options. Seven, added community benefits. The borough could request that Point Park host free youth clinics for Green Tree residents and explore revenue sharing opportunities for paid clinics, with proceeds directed towards future park improvements. Eight, economic impact for local businesses. By hosting tournaments each year, the borough will welcome visiting teams and families who patronize will support local residents, entertainment venues, and hotels. Requests to Borough Council to maximize community benefit. One, shared use of fields. While Point Park may be granted first choice of scheduling, fields must remain open for use by the Green Tree Athletic Association and Keystone Oak School District baseball team, including practices, games, and tournaments. Two, community signage. Any signage installed must properly identify the field as part of Green Tree Park, reinforcing that it remains a community-owned asset. Three, reevaluation of other fields. The borough should review Aiken 1 and Aiken 2 and Wilson Fields to ensure the best serve the community. Potential improvements include a conversion of underutilized areas into pickleball courts or additional soccer fields. Installation of protective netting at Wilson Field. It's our understanding that when softball or baseball is being played, those balls are being hit over by the pole. We were thinking maybe netting. General updates to improve versatility and accessibility. Four, responsible funding. Borough financial contribution should be limited to planning and engineering studies. The majority of the project costs should be borne by Point Park University and supplemented by external grants or partnership. In summary, this investment is a unique, cost-effective, and high-impact opportunity for Green Tree. It leverages outside funding to improve community facility, supports local youth sports, strengthens educational ties, stimulates the local economy, and reflects the wishes of our residents, all without burdening borough taxpayers. This recommendation was submitted to all council, including Ms. Miller, and it was respectfully submitted by the Green Tree Borough Planning Commission, Jessica Swish, who is our chairperson. She wasn't able to attend tonight. She asked me to read this, and we're asking you for those recommendations that the Planning Commission recommended. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amber.
Just comment there. Yeah, I would like to thank the planning commission. We referred this to the planning commissioner council did at the August meeting. This is September meeting within 30 days. They had 2 meetings. Ms. Schwartz and David Ray, myself attended the first meeting. I attended the second meeting. They had a lot of discussion and they made this recommendation by Ms. Short. So I thank them for all the time and energy they put within 30 days and got this back to us. Thank you.
I just want to make a note that we did have a public hearing the beginning of August, and then we just had our general meeting where we outlined all this, and the planning commission did discuss this just a couple weeks ago at our second meeting that we usually have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Lindsay Padka, 186 Sheldon Avenue. I was just looking to get an update, after the meeting at my home with with Mr. Wolf from the Wolf Company. Judy had said that you would be coordinating with the engineers to reach some sort of an amicable agreement. I just was looking for an update on that.
Yes, we don't have a determination now as the zoning variance indicated that it would be up to the zoning officer to make a determination whether or not there was, you know, an issue that needed to be addressed, and they are actively working with Wolf to talk about what next steps may be. So that is underway.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Don Fingers, 60 Terrace Drive. I was just wondering if we got any feedback yet from the Wooster Engineering firm on the School Street.
Yeah, I'll be providing an update, here in a bit.
He's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's here, but not. That's his voice.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Don Ham, 1035 Narcissus. I'm not aware, maybe you are, is there any planning going on in Green Tree with regard to the animal problem we're experiencing? We are under siege by deer herds. Over the last 3 to 4 years, I've lost 13 8-foot high green globe arborvitaes. I've lost 1 mature pear tree, 1 mature peach tree, and 1 mature apple tree. Not to mention innumerable hanging baskets, hostas, and flowering plants. In my backyard, in any evening, I can show you pictures because we have a ring security system of foxes, a mother and 4 cubs. I can show you pictures of the groundhogs. I can show you pictures of deer bedding down. My request is that this council would contact the Pennsylvania Game Commission and see what jointly can be done with regard to reducing the deer herd. Deer are, they produce in this area because there's nothing to curb them from producing. Now, they can be shot. There are other communities that have taken on those projects. They can be trapped. I would offer my backyard as a big netting area. But something has to be done. We cannot go longer and have trees and flowers and things that beautify our community when it becomes an open salad bar for herds of deer. And it doesn't seem like I've heard anything that's being done about it. So I present that to you tonight as a problem. It needs to be addressed. And I would be willing to offer my advice and help if something were set up. Okay, I've said my piece. Thank you very much for listening to me.
I'm gonna ask you if you wouldn't mind, please send me an email so that I have your contact information.
I will do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Fred Singer, 133 Sheldon Avenue. This is an adjunct to Don Ham's description. Somehow I remember 7, 8, 9 years ago, this same subject was brought up. And at that time, I think the consensus was if you can control the new births, perhaps you can control the herd. I don't recall if any action was taken that day. I have pictures galore of the beautiful foliage that we had in our backyard this spring. And I have pictures of a decimated garden. I know the deer were here first. I know that they have to eat something. But even things that they don't like, they eat. Please contact the Game Commission. I don't know that I want archers in my backyard, although the deer would be very easy to hit. Find out what other measures residents might take short of high fences and chemicals. Find out how the borough might get involved in reducing the number. I haven't heard many statistics about how many automobile, or let's say vehicle deer accidents are reported in the borough. I have no idea what those are. But even if it's 2 handfuls, that's a lot of damage. Please explore some possibilities, take some action. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could add one more item that I forgot. I think it's in the rules or regulations somewhere that cats are not allowed to be running wild. I clean up every other day, either fur from rabbits or feathers from birds, from people who let their cats just go. Okay, if you could remind people somehow that it is illegal to let their cats run loose, would be appreciated as well. Thank you.
Just one quick comment on the deer. I have brought that statistic before about traffic deer accidents in Green Tree. I'll update it, but it is a lot fewer than I anticipated. It was less than 2 handfuls and basically minor damage. So I agree there's a lot of deer, but fortunately in Green Tree, based on the roads and the speeds, there's not a lot of deer car accidents. Thank you.
Well, the deer also look both ways before they cross.
They're very polite.
Don Poplar, 57 Rhodes Avenue. I would also like to voice my opinion on the deer. First of all, we're not controlling births because I had a baby deer in my front yard this summer. I took pictures. Baby was left there under the tree. And that night, the mother must have came back and got it because it was gone. We were Googling, what do we do with a baby deer? Basically said, leave it alone, mother will come back. But I did see that deer 3 or 4 times in my backyard, running around, playing, having fun. I agree, we gotta do something. I keep hearing, and I've been coming to meetings for a while now. We're gonna look into it. Guess what? The time is to act. I'm tired of hearing we're looking into it. We need to do something about the deer. They are eating all of my hydrangeas, which are my prized possessions because they came from my father's house. They used to be beautiful. Right now, they're dying to the roots. This is ridiculous. I'm putting deer netting everywhere. I'm spraying everything with deer repellent. But the only problem with that is you gotta do it every time it rains. Something needs to be done. And I really would like council to come back next month and tell us all, what are we gonna do? Okay, that's the first subject. Second subject. This agenda, I've been looking at these agendas since I've been coming. I don't understand why we can't put a couple of bullet points on here about what each committee member is gonna talk about. That would help us out because then I don't have to come up here and ask all these questions because I know it's gonna be addressed during the meeting. Just a bullet point. We're gonna talk about the pool under this committee heading. We're gonna talk about streets and traffic under this committee. Bullet point something every month. This isn't even worth the paper or the ink that is printed on it. Because the only thing that changes on here every month is the finance section and any ordinances that are coming up. Everything else is exactly the same. You can go back months and take a look at it, because I did. Okay, next. I really would like to hear tonight from someone an update on where we are at with the pool. Did we go out for bid? Are the bids in? When did the bids close? What do we expect? The pool was great all summer. I loved it. Our families loved it. Our neighbors loved it. The heater worked up until the last 2 weeks. So I think the $8,000 was well spent. But again, I'd like to know what is going on with the pool. We're talking about improving communications. I don't see it happening yet. Nobody knows what's going on with the pool. I'm over there and people are coming to me and asking me, hey, what's going on with the pool? I'm not even on council. I think we need to start getting a little better at communicating. Next subject, something that brought up several months ago. Solar panels. My goodness, we can save thousands of dollars in this borough if we look into this particular issue. Put solar panels on a borough building, put solar panels on a firehouse, put solar panels on the maintenance buildings, and guess what? You're gonna be getting checks from Duquesne Light or credits. Is anybody looking into this yet? This was brought up months ago. Have heard nothing since it was brought up. I would really like to hear some sort of update tonight on that. If nobody has an update, I would hope that somebody would take an incentive to look into it and come back to us next month and give us an update. Okay, we called this company, we called this company. Give us something. Tell us what you're doing. Next subject, speeding in the borough. This has been going on for several months now. Guess what? Soccer season is open. Last Saturday, my wife and I sat on our porch, and in 1 hour, we saw at least 5 cars going well over the speed limit on Rhodes Avenue, where all these cars are parked and all these kids are running around on the field. Is council gonna wait till somebody gets hit and gets hurt? Or are we gonna seriously do something about it? I'm hearing no updates again. If you're gonna do a traffic study, let's get it done. I would hope by next month, we have an update of what we're gonna do or what we find out before somebody gets hurt. I would hate to see that happen, but it is gonna happen if we keep dragging our feet. By the way, my wife and I talked about this. If you want to put an unmarked police car in our driveway on Saturday, we're all for it. Put the car there, we'll sit with them out on the porch, and you can watch these people just speed up and down the highway. Okay, one more thing, and this one hasn't been brought up yet. Let's see, when was our storm? Was that April? We had a bad storm with power outage. There's a lamppost at Wilson Park that is about this high right now, doesn't have a lamp on it. I don't know, what are we doing about it? Anybody remember or know anything about it? The pole went down in that storm. They took the pole away, and all we have is the base. So I want to bring it to somebody's attention to see, are we gonna replace it? Are we gonna remove the base? What are we gonna do? Okay, I think I'm out of breath. I appreciate your time. I really would like to see some updates. And please consider putting something on here, bullet points, so I don't have to come up and ask all kind of questions. I know it's gonna be discussed. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment. I'll get Dave Ray, he indicated he was gonna address it, but Rooster Engineers was out here and they did, with, Miss Miller, and they looked at the School Street, Apple Drive, Rhodes Avenue, Banbury Lane and Carnahan Road intersections. And they, they had some recommendations as to traffic data collection and as to the second thing that they had, traffic calming countermeasures, engineering and traffic study. David Ray will give more update on that, but Rooster was out here, did meet with Ms. Miller, and there's no concrete proposals, but their proposals are to gather data and to come up with calming measures for traffic. So you'll hear more about that later. I didn't want to leave everybody in suspense in the meantime. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to our committee chair reports. Up first tonight is Mr. Panza for recreation. And this should say community affairs, not community events.
Yes, let me start my report by saying we should definitely, in November, have a meeting about the deer problem. We have some members of the deer task force. If we have other volunteers, we can set up a meeting that the main topic, the only topic will be what to do about the deer population, and collectively, hopefully we can come up with some avenues to pursue so we can start working on this problem. Also, I do want to mention Oktoberfest is this weekend, and at this time, would be the end of my report. Whoever said about making little notes on the agenda, that's a wonderful idea. So I hope I really think that's a fantastic idea. That's the end of my report.
So I have a few things to add to that. So when, I don't remember what month it was, but I did report back that I did attend a workshop on deer management. And I reported back on that, and I gave the information to Mr. Panza. The State Game Commission, their first recommendation, and this would have to be brought to council for discussion. I think having a workshop about it is a wonderful idea. But their first recommendation is to make an ordinance so that you cannot feed deer or wildlife. So that is typically their first recommendation. And then when you look into any culling of deer, there's really two different avenues that you typically what they recommend. The first one is of hunting. There are some state laws about where you can do that in your borough or in your municipality. And we would have to be able to identify that. It was when I discussed with them, there was essentially we would have to figure some of that stuff out because of the way our yards are and the fact that our community is very tight. It doesn't doing it in people's backyards is usually like not what you could do. But in large open areas is a possibility. The other method that they recommend is the culling of deer and then transporting them or taking care of them some other way. And then that requires a big area as well to bring them to. I do not know the specific details of how all of those things would happen, but those are the three things that they would recommend. And I did pass that on to Mr. Panza. I agree. I want to see some action in this. It is something that is incredibly important in our community. I don't think any one of us has, or there's probably been very few of us who have not had things eaten by the deer or had deer have birth in our yard. We also have the information from the, animal control. And in those numbers too, of the times the numbers that animal control is called to remove a deer, whether it's a dead deer or a living deer, are actually surprisingly small too. So just to feed into what the mayor was saying about those traffic incidents. That information has been supplied, to Mr. Hansa, and I agree, I want to see that, so if he would love to have, that is part of the community affairs. If he would love to bring that up for discussion, more than happy to have it.
I have a comment. Let's keep understanding, I'm not the president, I just.
Hold on, 1 second, we have someone in the audience, and then I heard Mr. Ray first, and then Mr. Panza.
Based on those three column
Can you please go to the mic?
Yeah, can you come to the mic, it helps us get it, it's okay.
based on those three culling methods, state game laws require about a 500-foot distance between structures.
Yeah.
Green Tree is common.
Yeah.
When I see them put a house on a lot that's not much bigger than the house, Green Tree is compact. The hunting is, it's gonna be nullified. As far as the other two methods, again, the only two areas that I'm aware of is the teardrop between Park Edge and Sheldon. Not counting cemeteries, by the way.
Right.
The teardrop between Park Edge and Sheldon and the properties below the intersection of Park Edge and Sheldon on the bottom end down to the Carnegie line. Those are the only two areas. And the deer, I can't say for sure. There's more deer here than there are down there.
Well, 'cause we've given them tasty treats, right? And deer have evolved that, although we know that, everyone says, don't plant hostas, the deer will eat what's available, they don't care. It's like a ravaged teenager who lives in my house who's just eating everything, yeah.
I don't think I've seen a salt lick or corn anywhere in the borough.
I have. But not many, but I have. And then so we have Mr. Ray and then Mr. Panza.
Yeah, so my comment is, I believe, this deer issue is not a recreation and community affairs, it's more of a public safety issue. We have been waiting to talk about this, it seems like for well over a year. So Mr. Vance, if you don't mind, I'd be willing to take it over. As it really is a public safety issue.
I just wanna see it get done.
That my sister might have Lyme's disease because of ticks, but it's more public safety. So I'd like to take that on.
I'm fine with that, I just wanna see it get done. Mr. Panza, can you work with Mr. Ray?
It'll get done with me.
Mr. Panza?
I would love to have public safety join community affairs and working together and solving this issue. Also, at our scheduled meeting, I'd also like to give
Okay, stop, we're speaking over each other and that doesn't even work in person, let alone on the phone. Please stop. Please stop.
On his plate just 2 years.
I can't, or someone has feedback, so someone needs to mute. Mr. Panza, continue what you were saying, and then Mr. Ray can speak again.
Yeah, I was just saying, if in November, it would be great to have, public safety, joint community affairs, my committee to come up with a nice solution to this problem. We also, I'd like to provide the history of what we've done the last 25 years to try to solve the problem, which doesn't seem to work. And just come November, have a meeting with that. Okay, yes.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we do agree that we can have a discussion about this. I would like, Mr. Panza, for you to pass that information and have that conversation between you and Mr. Ray alone and together, pass that knowledge on to him, give that to him, and then Mr. Ray can pick it up and, we can move it into public safety. And that might result in having the, you know, I know that we've talked about like this deer board. I've never heard of it. I don't know outside of these meetings. I agree that something should be done. I think that this is a good opportunity for you two to pass that information on together. And then we can have the public safety look into it. It does require a lot of different data points. And then we can eventually, when everyone will have a chance to discuss it at a public meeting. So thank you. Yes. Absolutely. Let's have Ms. House, and then we'll, if you can come up to the speaker.
I know you brought this up earlier in the year after you had
Yeah.
been at your conference. Just a reminder that there is a group in Pennsylvania called ticklab.org. And so if you have ticks on yourself, on your animals, your dogs, anyone in the state of Pennsylvania can mail that tick in and it will be tested for free. They test for the top 9 pathogens. They have a very, very fast turnaround time, and that can help navigate any conversations you may have to have with a medical professional in the future. But they do receive grant money from the state, so any Pennsylvania resident can do that for free. And all you do is you put it in a little plastic bag. Do not put it in alcohol. Do not put it in solution of any kind. But you can safely remove it, put it in an envelope, and whatever the regular postal rate, you can go to normal letter size envelope to the Tick Lab. They're located in East Stroudsburg, and they will keep you informed. And they also do have a newsletter as well for tick tips. And that certainly does not solve the awful doe problem that we have, but it can help mitigate some tick-borne diseases and make you aware of ways to look and how to keep yourself safe and your pets in your yard safe from ticks.
Yes. please go ahead.
John Koppler, just shouting right now. Unfortunately, we lost our dog a few months ago, but our yard is still being treated for fleas and ticks. Mainly because my backyard is a sleeping quarters for them. I see them there all the time. If one of the options is to place some sort of a trap to capture these deer and relocate them, I will volunteer my backyard because they are back there all the time. So I want you to know that's available to you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have to bring this up again. Christine Short, 251 Park Edge. This whole deer thing is nothing new. I brought this up about 2.5, 3 years ago. Mr. Panza told me to put coyote urine in my yard. I don't know what we can do with the deer population. I have a whole family that lays in my yard. I have a dog. I have to treat my yard every single day with that stinky stuff. My neighbor even gave me stuff. I just want it on record that I brought this up 3 years ago.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you, sorry.
Okay, so you heard it from the president. Mr. Panza and Mr. Ray will discuss about the history of this and where we got to today. Then Mr. Ray will convene and we will have a meeting about this. And with that will come some of the data point entries. So we will share the animal control numbers, the vehicle numbers, and we are also able to pull some information about the prevalence of the 9 pathogen, the tick-borne illnesses from the lab and public health. So we can pull that information too. All right, thank you. Okay.
Did Mr. Panza, mention, I couldn't hear it very well, when the next recreation committee meeting is?
September 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to community engagement and communication, Ms. Demi.
Yeah,
I actually had two dead deer removed from my yard in the past year or two, and my daughter had Lyme disease last year, so it's definitely a problem. So apologies I couldn't be here last month, as it was mentioned, thank you, Ms. Schwartz, for stepping in. We're looking at how the community is engaged in the borough. We looked at the idea of forming a couple of new committees, for the 250th anniversary. It really seemed like it would fall under the purview of, recreation, so, we'll meet, kind of punt this over, Mr. Panza, to you. I think I just heard the next meeting is September 22nd. The, if there's an appetite for the rec board to simply, plan to, activities around the 250th, birthday of America, or, however it's, whatever the phrase is,
250th birthday celebration.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And, you know, if there's an appetite for that, and if not, this committee will need to look at forming some additional volunteer opportunities. The traffic advisory board, as it was noted, was not deemed to be needed or really feasible to form, due to the complexities surrounding road maintenance. We discussed making adjustments to the website that will allow a clearer, easier path for citizens to more easily submit issues, and make sure that that is pulsed out more frequently in communications out to the borough. And then we discussed, Mr. Wright had a great idea, in terms of engaging additional volunteers and kind of an expo format. So we will look to host that, towards the end of the year, and we'll be looking to invite all of the community groups. And we also looked at, how that's currently posted on the website, opportunities for people to sign up online to become, more involved, what information and data we're currently collecting, how we can streamline that process, make it a little bit easier, and form kind of a volunteer database, that we could then host on the website. That's my report for tonight.
Thank you. Finance and Borough Administration, Mr. Tintori, your chair report, and then the ordinances.
Thank you, Madam President. As far as chair report, Finance Committee is meeting on the 15th, that will be next Monday. So I would like to make a motion to ratify the actions of the borough manager in paying the August 2025 invoices from the general fund totaling $76,949.32. Sanitary sewer funding totaling $334.36. Farmers market totaling $431. Payroll account totaling $257,489.37. Educational Service Agency fund totaling $621.27. And credit card June of 2025 totaling $5,959.93.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a discussion, just in a second, any discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Exceptional wildlife removal, 5,426. And I also noticed, I thought, when I first saw that, I thought maybe we changed, animal control, but I also saw a payment to Mount Lebanon for, animal control, so you don't understand what that is?
Yes, that was for the removal of wildlife in the building and additional measures that have been approved to prevent them from coming in.
Got it. Okay. And then, Judy, there's a payment to you for, I can't, for some reason I can't scroll.
That's okay, I can tell you what it's for. It's for,
Equipment.
was it like $1,216?
Yeah.
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 So when I tried to make the reservation for the Oktoberfest, something for Oktoberfest, I can't remember what it was, our credit card got declined. Not for any bad reasons, just they thought it was suspicious, so I had to use my personal credit card to get the reservation because it was indicated that it was urgent to get the payment.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. And then, recreation, criminal history, do we do, is that for like background check for recreation?
Yeah, like child, yeah, that's like clearances.
And then the payment to PA chiefs when they were, supposedly assisting with our police chief interviews. I thought the payment is $388. I thought that it was less than that. I thought we agreed to something less than that amount.
I believe it was hourly plus travel.
Okay. Those are the only questions I had.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? That passes, thank you.
I'd like to make a general comment.
Sure.
Yeah, I bring this up multiple times a year, but the amount of money that we pay, Leonard Smith is pretty outrageous. I know that we've been told that we can't hire, an engineer, or the amount that we're paying Leonard Smith would, be somewhat in the same ballpark as a full-time engineer, but I really think that, I think it would be in the borough's best interest to at least put out a, job posting to see if there's anyone out there that could serve as a full-time engineer. We have a bunch of projects coming up. I think we pay this month maybe close to $50,000 or $33,000 to Leonard Smith. In my opinion, I probably see it on cash now. So I'd really like to see what's in the market right now, the labor market in terms of professional engineers we hire full time. So we haven't even tried, but we don't know if they exist.
Yeah, we can have the Finance and Administration Committee look at that for their meeting next week.
Yes, and I would not be adverse to that. I think that at a point in time that we were looking, the options were actually the no options. And while I do think having an in-house engineer would help provide, I would not, definitely would not, eliminate the need to still have Leonard Smith engaged, just to be clear about that.
And it would still have to be involved.
Yeah, we have always engaged Leonard Smith.
I understand, we had Gateway.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, no problem.
Capacity and capability issues that have to be outsourced. I get it.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay, moving on. I'd like to, make a motion to approve payment of the September 2025 invoices from the general fund totaling $208,809.57. Storm sewer funding totaling $12,811.62. Sanitary sewer fund totaling $60,326.77. Capital projects fund totaling $34,618.86. Healthcare fund totaling $363.02. And farmers market fund totaling $913.50.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, thank you. Moving on, Ms. House Infrastructure.
So we have a few ongoing items that have no significant updates. Those would be the Trumbull Bridge project, final design continues. Green Light Go grant, we are still awaiting, news on whether we're going to receive that or not. And then the I-376 interchange project, we have sent our concerns, they acknowledge they received them. We have not received any responses, from PennDOT on that. Continuing on, the Arla Stormwater Alcohol Restoration Project is complete. And there is a remaining task to be completed in the Holiday Mansfield Storm Line project. We are waiting, on the engineers or the construction team availability to complete that. We continue to work with LSSE to develop solutions for the storm and sanitary systems that have in some private homes. In some areas of Green Tree that have had significant runoff and flooding, so the borough continues to work with the engineers in the home to address those concerns. Most of the work associated with those repairs are being handled by CCSI under a blanket fund. The newest things happening are the Sidewalk improvements to Green Tree Road. Phase 3 construction contract documents have been completed and work is scheduled to begin in October. That work will be coordinated with PennDOT. The 2025 road program is expected to begin within the next week or two. We are going to be replacing the concrete curbs with bituminous curbs, which was brought to council from the borough manager. And Ms. Miller, if you'd like to elaborate on that. What it is meant to do is it's meant to stop or mitigate the cracking that happens. So when they pave the road and they have the concrete curb with all the freeze thaw cycles over the winter, that seal breaks and water gets under there and there's cracking along the road and the curb line. So there is a different material that this contractor is going to use to help mitigate those problems. Notifications of that work schedule will go out via the Connexa app, website, and Facebook. And residents living on the streets to be paved will receive door hanger notifications as well. The stream restoration project is expected to begin in September. We have received grants for that work, and it was delayed due to conditions. The fiber optic property ditch line. The filing of the lawsuit was completed, and updates will be given as they come out. And then final steps are underway for the demolition of the house on the property of 358 Mansfield. And a Blake grant will pay for that demolition. So that is the end of my report. If there's any questions on that, I do have the resolution. So this is resolution number 1372, redevelopment authority of Allegheny County, grant for the Holiday Drive and Mansfield Avenue storm sewer improvements. I move that we authorize the borough manager to execute all documents and agreements between the borough of Green Tree and the redevelopment authority of Allegheny County to assist in obtaining a grant in the amount of $500,000 to be used for the Holiday Drive and Mansfield Avenue storm sewer improvement.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Miss Demi,
Yes.
Mr. Panza. Okay,
Yes.
sorry, I just lost my list. Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Miss Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori,
Yes.
Miss House,
Yeah.
Miss Barron.
Yes. That resolution passes. Thank you. Next up, we have public facilities, park and equipment, Ms. Schwartz.
All right, hello all. So borough building damage, repairs the column should be completed within a week. You can see it's back in place. That should all be taken care of. The Point Park Field dugout repairs are scheduled to begin shortly. And the work will be completed by the same contractor. They're waiting for them to finish the pillars outside and then they will move to the Point Park dugout. Pool reconstruction, as was asked for update on the pool. The peer review has been completed and some between the solicitor and LSSE. They have been working with the pool architect, revisions are being incorporated, and we're waiting for that final revision to come out before it can be placed out to bid. So it is not out to bid yet. And they're finalizing that now after the review. And so we will be letting everyone know once that goes out to bid, but it's not out to bid yet.
Do you have a projection?
No,
Probably by the end of the month. it'll be out.
hopefully.
I have a question. The pool was winterized for
Yes.
like normal.
The
so that
pool is
it gets-
winterized the same way that we do every year, so that if it is ready to be opened in the spring, if that is the plan. So that is there. And we will be discussing, our next meeting will be September 15th. And we will be discussing improvements to the AV system. We've all talked about the microphones, everything in here. We do have bids now. We will be discussing that so that we can plan that for budgeting going forward for next year. At the same time, I'm going to add to the agenda that we discuss solar improvements and what that would entail, for the borough. Also, we are planning as a committee to go and visit all of the parks and facilities and kind of make a list of what we see that needs to be done for the budget for the following year. So we can get a general idea of where we're at on all of these spaces. So that'll be happening during the month of September as we get prepared for budgeting for 2026. So that is all I have for my report. Does anyone have any questions?
Question.
Yes.
Were you aware that the heater broke at the pool, or didn't it break and they just turned it off? I don't know what happened.
I knew that it broke and I knew that we had a repair. I was not aware of the fact that it wasn't working at the this evening.
It was repaired at the beginning.
Yeah, it was, and it was
Yeah.
working all summer long. The last 2 weeks of the season, it wasn't working.
I just thought it was because it just got chilly out, but
No.
that's just me.
No, because I talked to the pool manager
Yeah.
and he didn't know what happened.
There's multiple problems. It's an extremely old system. so,
Right, I understand.
Yeah,
I just was wondering if anybody at council knew what happened.
I did not.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, because if not, I have a resolution. Resolution number 1373, redevelopment authority of Allegheny County grant for the Green Tree Pool House renovations, phase 2. I move that we authorize the borough manager to execute all documents and agreements between the Borough of Green Tree and the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County to assist in obtaining a grant in the amount of $445,000 to be used for the Green Tree Pool House renovations, phase 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Who was phase 1 and when did we talk about, do we have a plan for the pool house renovations? How are we going after funding without a plan?
So I think the phase is just referring to the grant phase, not our project phase. So there are renovations needed to the pool bathhouse. There are some issues over there for anybody that uses it regularly. It is definitely the renovations. So we're going after the money now. And, we can design it and use the money as we see fit, so long as it's within the scope of what is happening in the grant, which is not specific. It's just renovating, updating, ADA accommodations that we do. And with that said, I can also say, so this grant is being submitted. But we, last year received a grant, for this project in the amount of $50,000. And then we were just notified within the last month or so, we received a grant for $65,000. So we already have over $100,000, available to us to help offset any, renovation expenses. And in my mind, if you know what you have up front, it helps you to then plan accordingly. You may do more or less depending on the money that you have available.
When does the money have to be spent?
It's usually within a couple of years. I think it's usually a two-year process.
When would this be awarded?
I believe this does not come out till the spring of 2026.
So I can't remember, did we talk about the $1.5 million grant for the pool that we did not get? Is that true?
It is true, we did not get any of that. So the only grant funding we have so far for the pool is $500,000.
Okay.
So right now, between the two, we have over $600,000.
And if we're awarded grant money, we don't use it, is there any penalty?
There's no penalty, you just don't get the money. These are all, grants are all reimbursement grants. It's not like we have the money sitting in our bank account. We get reimbursed as we spend it in accordance with the terms of contract.
Okay, any other questions? We have the motion, we have the second in the discussion. Let us do a roll call vote, please.
Miss,
Shannon, I'm sorry, I do have
Sure.
one other question. Judy, you might remember, because I asked similar question maybe last year. and I think this solicitor weighed in too, are there any, usage requirements when we use, the redevelopment authority grants to, either build or renovate public property?
My understanding is no, those restrictions, we talked about this several years ago when we first started this project. Typically, those are the DCNR grants that have restrictions. You can't, like, for instance, on admissions, you are not permitted to charge non-residents more than double what you charge the residents, something similar to that. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but that's of the nature of how they might restrictions, but we did not apply for any DCNR grants.
Okay, those restrictions don't do, those types of restrictions apply to these grants.
My understanding is no, especially not LSA.
Our solicitor wants that way in there.
Yeah, just to confirm, the DCNR grants are always the most restrictive. What you're applying for likely, unless there's some caveat in the actual grant proposal itself, you won't be as restricted at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Miss Demi?
Yeah.
Miss House?
Yeah.
Mr. Panza?
Yeah.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Tintori?
Yes.
Miss Schwartz?
Yeah.
Miss Barron?
Yes. That, resolution passes. We can move on to public safety and equipment, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, public safety and equipment, in August, the Green Tree Police Department handled 39 ambulance assists, 23 suspicious activity calls, and 15 ordinance violations, along with overdoses, domestics, thefts, assaults, and 2 DUIs. We also assisted neighboring departments with major incidents, including a shots fired barricade and a carjacking on Green Tree Road. Community engagement included National Living Out and the 100.7 Vassy Bubba's Backpack Brigade, where about 50 backpacks were collected for children in need. I also want to note my appreciation for the police presence as the school year begins. Officers have been following school buses to and from school, maintaining visibility around their schools, and working alongside the school resource officer Shane and Deacon to help our students safe. The Green Tree Fire Department responded to 17 calls during the month. I also attended their Sportsman's Bash this past Saturday, which in my 12 years of going was one of the most well-attended. The event not only brought out tremendous community support for our Green Tree firefighters, but it also helped support East Carnegie's Fire Department. It was definitely a strong showing of fundraising and community spirit for both departments. Council recently interviewed candidates for the police chief position. After discussion, the majority agreed to continue with acting chief Brannigan in a role for now. But more to come on that. We have a public safety meeting coming up in the next week or so to discuss any updates to police chief position. With the recent resignation of the emergency management coordinator, the public safety committee is finalizing the full position description. Once complete, the role will be advertised, candidates will be interviewed by the committee, and a recommendation will be made to council for appointment. The committee is also reviewing requests for designated bike riding areas in the parks. And we've asked the planning commission to provide support on this matter. They've already been looking into it. To address complaints of speeding in intersection safety, we've received a traffic calming proposal from David E. Wooster Associates. The focus areas include School Street, Abacal, and Rhodes Avenue, as well as the intersections of Green Tree Road at Banbury Lane, which is an unsignalized crossing, currently an unsignalized crossing, and Green Tree Road at Carnahan, which is a signalized crossing that may need to be updated. The scope includes data collection such as 24-hour traffic speed counts and 12-hour pedestrian counts. It includes a review of 5 years of PennDOT crash data, a field measurement of roadway width, grade, signage, and signals. And it also includes, a traffic calming and engineering study to review roadway geometry, signage, signal timing, the development of traffic calming and pedestrian safety options consistent with PennDOT standards. And it also includes preparing signing and pavement markings and provide preliminary cost construction estimates. The Public Safety Committee is reviewing that proposal and work can begin within 2 weeks of approval. And the overall timeline is about 8 weeks from the start to completion. And then with regards to the deer conversation that we had this evening, we're not gonna wait until November, Mr. Panza. As soon as you get me that data, that information that was provided to you by Ms. Barron, since you're on my committee, that'll be a nice, easy transition. We'll start to formulate a plan to address it. I agree that, that the deer and other animals are, using Green Tree, are shrubs or trees, based on property values. What they are, they're destroying them, so I agree that it's something that we have to look into. And I also, like I said earlier, this is even more importantly a public safety issue with, children playing in the woods and getting ticks and their pets getting ticks, anybody getting ticks really. So we'll take that on and we'll address it immediately, at least coming up with a plan by the end of the year. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
I have one question, and this is not related to anything we discussed tonight, but more of a thing I've been thinking about. And I don't know who can answer it, if it's the mayor or you, Mr. Ray. We mentioned in our, updates about public safety, in regards to overdoses. Do our police officers, travel with Narcan?
Yes. And they use it frequently.
Yeah,
They could say frequently, but they use it.
yes, and then my other question is, can we look into the police, being we've had the bring your drugs to us campaigns, but Narcan is able to be dispersed as an organization to anybody. We have it, at my work, we distributed it, I'm trained to give it. But it is something that you can walk into a pharmacy in Pennsylvania and ask for Narcan and not have to give your prescription. And it is one of those medications that is handy when you have it. And it is important when you have it. I was wondering if the police could look into either hosting a distribution. There are resources in Pennsylvania, they give it for free, that the organization can get it and then can distribute it at events, stop into the borough offices, stop into the police department and get it. It is one of those drugs that is handy to have in your pocket. Overdosing is not something that just happens on the street. And the more people that we have that are aware of it, I think the better off anyone can be.
We can look into it, but it is, as you indicated, publicly available in drugstores, and our police do carry it. In the police report for the month of August, officers responded to a residence on Blank Street for a report of a male overdosing. Officers administered 1 dose of, that's a brand name, no, I can't say, Naloxone, but that's Narcan. And the patient was transported to the hospital by medics. But anyhow, about once a month, our officers do administer and save somebody's life potentially and transport them to the hospital. I'll discuss that with the chief, whether we should be distributing it or making it available. But like I said, it is available in drugstores, but I will discuss that.
Yeah, I just know from our work that just having it available makes it's one of those things that the easier it is to access, the more beneficial it is, because it does break down those barriers and people can just carry it in their purses, in their cars, keep it at home. We do have, one of the things that was mentioned in my training around this crisis in our county is that we do have people who are on a lot of drugs at home and sometimes take more than they should, and that having it in your home when you're caring for an elderly parent, someone who has just come out of a surgery, it has saved lives in those instances. So that's why, I mean, I can, you can find it, that they would know it, but it's all through nextdistro.org for Pennsylvania. That's all I had, just a question, that's it. Okay, moving on to the mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. As indicated, October, Fest is September 13th, this Saturday. I believe it starts at 11 a.m. and it's over at the fireworks at the end of the day. It's a one-day event, so hopefully we have good weather and a lot of people attend. Keystone Oaks has its homecoming parade, Friday, September 26th. They have a parade, it's a short distance, about a mile, and the mayors of Green Tree, Borough Council, Shannon participate. And actually, it's the 25th reunion, high school reunion. It's not my reunion, I wish it was. It's my daughter's reunion, so she'll be coming in from Napa to attend the 25th reunion from Keystone Oaks High School on Friday, September 26th. I also attended the Sportsman's Bash a couple of days ago, I guess just 2 days ago. So thank the volunteer firemen. Dave Ray indicated I saw him there. There were, I would estimate, hundreds of people during the day. It was a great event. And we thank the volunteer firemen. I mean, they worked all day. They had all kinds of food. The line was forever all day long. So thank you for them. I've already thanked the planning commission for all the work they did on the Point Park University and the recommendation. And Ms. Short, I read their recommendation into the record. So no need to do so. In regard to the police report, Mr. Ray pointed out things on the police report. I just want to point out 3 things in particular. There were 7 domestics. I mean, boyfriend, girlfriend, and different things, not all boyfriend, girlfriends, 2 mental health issues, and 5 disturbances. Sometimes you have disturbances at fast food restaurants and other restaurants and hotels. People intoxicated or they don't like the service. So all those take a lot of diplomacy to handle when you deal with domestics, when you deal with mental health, when you deal with disturbances, with people acting up in restaurants that are unreasonable. But our police do an excellent job on those types of things. So I'd like to thank them for handling those. You can never know when they're going to turn ugly, those kind of events, but our guys keep their cool and we solve those issues. As Mr. Ray pointed out, moving on, right now, we're gonna keep the status quo, for the time being. Chief Brannigan and the councils has, potentially, we'll interview some additional people in the future, start the process. But right now, acting Chief Brannigan, good morale in the police department, and everyone's doing a good job. So I thank them. In regard to, AI policy, artificial intelligence. I noted that Allegheny County just enacted one, so my recommendation, I know we enacted one, but it couldn't hurt just to get a copy. We could order a copy of the AI policy from Allegheny County and just see if they cover something, or, when we go to modify ours in the future, we could take a look at theirs to see, maybe add something on that. In regard to the Rooster Traffic Engineering Services, David Ray did report, I mentioned it earlier, so there'd be some cost involved, but I would anticipate that the Public Safety Committee's going to recommend it. I can't speak for them, but at least portions of that study that we can progress on that in the very near future. In regard to I always mention workshop meetings. I still think council should meet twice a month. We always have something. I mean, we could handle the deer workshop meetings. We could handle solar panels. I mean, we could have a half-hour discussion. People can bring in information. So I'm going to continue to push for workshop meetings. I think that they would be a great thing to have. In regard to the update in regard to the pool, Ms. Schwartz reported on that. But what it was, the specifications were prepared by our pool designer. We have LSSE That's what this change was with the peer review. We had another engineer, look at somebody else's work to see if there were any suggestions. I think they made several
The
suggestions.
solicitor also looked at it.
And the solicitor, right, for the legal aspect, and we had another engineer look at it to reconfirm these things, and they made some recommendations, and that's what the process is, those recommendations are being updated. And then in regard to the pool, I've requested, not the specifications, they don't need to be put online, but, maybe I've missed it, but we should have the drawing of the final design with the dimensions. Okay, so if it's not, just the most recent drawing that's approved, the specifications are one thing, but the design, people can look at that, here's how big it is, here's where different things are, so, that would be a recommendation in that regard. And in regard to the deer, there would be another place, the nature center, they do shoot deer in Frick Park. But they had to jump through a lot of hoops, they have to close the park, they have to do it at certain times, they have to get certain people certified, and then they hire certain people to do it, and so on and so forth, and you need certain distances, as they've already indicated, but, I guess that's one possibility to, 20 years ago, things were different. When I first got on council, this room was packed. It wasn't packed with people that wanted to get rid of the deer. It was packed 20 years ago with people who wanted not to touch the deer. So anyhow, the times have changed and everything moves. Anyhow, maybe the deer population wasn't as bad 20 years ago, but I can see the concerns. Two of my grandsons have had Lyme disease. One of my immediate family members have Lyme disease, and I'm up to 25. Before I cut my grass, I got 25 dung and throw it over the hill. So anyhow, at least have a place to put it. So there are a lot of deer. So hopefully we can address it, but it is a complicated problem just because I think, in my opinion, the way to do it is to kill the deer, and to kill the deer, that creates some of their own risk. You have to be careful and get the right people to do it and have the right open spaces. So that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now it is the president's report. So we have mentioned Oktoberfest, but I wanted to give some additional information on that. Oktoberfest is this weekend. It is 11 to 8 in Green Tree Park. The fireworks will go off at approximately 8:15. There are some new activities this year. There'll be free airbrush face painting. That is from 2 to 6. The balloon animals will be in their own booth from 3:30 to 5:30 to help the rush on this popular activity. There's going to be a musical chairs competition with prizes for children and adults. There's added space for even more community groups and vendors, and there are more food options than ever before. The committee, which some of our council members sit on, I do not, but as your president, I can let you know that the committee is still looking for volunteers. So if you or someone in your family would like to give an hour helping out with the kid games, if you can drive a golf cart or you want to help with traffic direction, please feel free to email ofest@greentreeborough.com, or you can stop by and just see me after this meeting. I can get you in contact with them. And I will see you there. It is supposed to be a really beautiful day. So I'm excited about it. I'll be there all day. It is also Love Your Library Month. The borough, as I think everyone here knows, the borough pays for the largest and significant portion of the Green Tree Library's budget from our dollars. But that amount does not cover all of the library's expenses. The library also receives funding from RAD. There's a small amount of table gaming funds that are designated for the library, and then the rest of it really comes from donations. So Love Your Library Month is an initiative that is countywide, and it is in its 10th year this year. And this means that donations made to your favorite library, who we all know is Green Tree Public Library, are matched by the Jack Buncher Foundation this month. I would really be remiss if I did not mention this opportunity to have your gift go further by donating it by September 30th. Even a small amount gets put into the, amount that will be matched. And this does help the library really sustain the programs, the, many different activities that they do, their book purchasing. It really goes a long way. And if you're thinking about year-end giving, this is a way to, get on top of it. You can do that at iloveyourlibrary.org. You can stop down in the library and give money in person. You can do it by check. All of the different ways to just make a small but really mighty difference this year. And then the library book sale is in October. I will talk about it in our October meeting, but they are currently looking for volunteers. Volunteers for unpacking the books, bringing it in here, helping to sort the books. This room and the room, beyond us becomes the library book sale. It's a lot of sorting. And then of course, helping on the library book sale days. If you are interested in volunteering or know of someone who would like to volunteer, please reach out to the library. You can go on their website, you can stop down, you can give them a call. Every little bit of help helps that multi-day event. Between setup and toward the ends of it, it really is a whole week of work. And that is all I have for my report today. Ms. Miller.
So, one of the things that is coming up is running a little bit behind, but not overly so, but you may recall, I think it had been brought up at a meeting before, that some of the roads that have been paved just recently, we really noticed after this past winter where we had pretty significant freeze thaw. And some of the residents on those newly paved roads complained that there was already cracking in those roads. And this is something that we've discussed with our engineers, staff over the years, that how Green Tree has done the road program all these years is to maintain a concrete curb. And, I think it's kind of considered a luxury to have a concrete curb. It looks nice. That was the old fashioned way of doing things. In a good way, because some of those curbs are probably 30 years old and torn. The problem that we've been experiencing is that, as Ms. House started to explain, is that when the asphalt meets the concrete curbing, and then it's sealed. I think if you just drive around town, you look at any of the concrete curbs, you see growth coming up and the weeds and whatnot growing in. The weeds are coming out, the water's going in. And where that water is going in, it's getting down underneath the concrete. It gets underneath the asphalt, and then the freeze thaw causes the asphalt to buckle. We can go in, we can seal it, but the asphalt's still reasonably compromised at that point. So through, we've talked, a little bit last year, about this idea of removing the concrete curb and then just going with the pavement all the way up and creating the asphalt curbs. It's a difficult conversation. It's a difficult decision because people look at you like, why are you ripping out perfectly good concrete curbs for asphalt? The problem is if you go down a road, just say a long road like Park Edge, you'll have like 4 or 5 houses of good concrete curbing, and then you'll have 2 or 3 with bad, and then a couple more with good. And so what we end up doing is we're patching, and then you still have a brand new curb next to a 25-year curb. And then that 25-year curb is not going to last as long as the brand new curb. So in talking with our contractor for this year, they have recommended, they've done it in a lot of communities now. Quite frankly, some of the larger communities have all moved to getting rid of the concrete curbing. So hopefully the residents aren't disappointed because we are going to go in that direction this year. So if you live on some of the roads that will be paved, like Forest, there's a lot of the roads that we're paving this year are being paved that were moved up in the road program due to utility company work. So that's why they're being taken care of this year. Park Edge is one of them as well. And so we will be going through and we're basically just going to mill off the top of the concrete curb, and then it's going to be edge to edge asphalt. So I really do think in the long run, community will see that it's an improved look. just because we won't have these concrete curbs with weeds growing out of them. And it does look quite unsightly, so. It's a decision that was, discussed with council just to make sure they are on board with it, because it is a departure from how we've done things in the past, so. I just hope that the community is happy with it. I really do think in the long run, it's a better way to go, and it'll give us a much more finished, much more polished look. So that's that. Sidewalks, also she had mentioned, down, from Forest down to McMonagle, will all get brand new, sidewalks. And this isn't just about new sidewalks, because some may look at it and say, well, sidewalks really aren't in that bad a condition. The bigger issue with those areas is that the curbing, after the road gets paved over and over again, the curbing is just about gone. And that's a heavily traveled road. I think anybody that drives with any given number of miles a day, that a lot of people aren't paying attention. If you hit a nice square curve, you're gonna know it. If you hit a rolled curve that's almost level with the sidewalk, on the sidewalk. So it was kind of a little bit of a safety issue for us too. So we're really lucky we received the contract award, I believe, was just in and around 400,000, and we'll get about 50% of that in grant funding. So we continue to apply for grant funding for those sidewalks. So that's phase 3. We've already received grant funding for phase 4. So we'll be doing those next year, probably early in the spring.
Judy, I have a question about that.
Sure.
So, and it's kind of hard to hear, you're talking about the squared off curve, right?
Yes.
Or the squared off sidewalk, which I guess curve is safer because you hit the curve instead of rolling up onto the sidewalk. So if we move to basically the asphalt curve, are we gonna also do that where we have those box curbs? What does that look like?
No, I'm sorry, Dave. So the asphalt curving is only on borough-owned roads. And these sidewalks are only on Green Tree Road, State Road.
What about where we have sidewalks like, on roads?
Yeah, we would not, I mean, we would want to do that. That's a whole different conversation, because you're talking about ripping out, the rolled concrete curb. We're going back with the rolled curb in the borough-owned residential streets. That I think, I'd like to think the traffic's not, well, maybe not up roads. It sounds like they're going pretty fast.
You know what? The last time they paved it was only a year ago, and they sealed it,
Yeah,
and my perception so far is it seems like it's working fine.
yeah.
Now, I still do see some grass growing, but I think it's actually where the concrete rolled curb is, that the grass is popping up out of seams,
Seems that's.
not so much underneath the asphalt.
Yeah, there's all those seams, and it also, I will say, replacing the concrete curbing, we always have issues with driveway transitions.
Yeah.
If you go around town, you see a lot of people put asphalt over top of the concrete curbs. And that is a mess, and then it disrupts the way the water flows to the swim source. So, no, Dave, this would just be along Green Tree Road. And, this replacing the sidewalk started many years ago, just kind of continuing on with the plan to replace all of these sidewalks. And the sidewalks that are there, that were put years ago, there's the curb, there's grass, then there's the sidewalk, and then the yard. And it's a little bit of a maintenance nightmare too. A lot of people don't recognize the fact that they have to maintain that little strip between the curb and the sidewalk, so.
So just to confirm, if we have a box curb on adjacent to a sidewalk, when that road needs to be repaved, we're gonna maintain that box curb
Yeah,
adjacent to the sidewalk.
I think one of the few places that I'm just off the top of my head, I believe is over, just down off of roads along adjacent to the tennis courts. I think there's a box curb there.
Like those sidewalks.
Those we maintain. I'm not looking to get rid of any good condition box cement curbs, absolutely not. These are just on the residential roads where all of the curbs are in pretty bad, recent.
sidewalk involved, then we'll evaluate that on an as-needed basis, right? We're not.
We could, but typically on interior residential roads, we would continue with the road. But again, on Green Tree Road, there's a lot of truck traffic, there's a lot of bus traffic, there's a lot of people waiting on those roads and bus stops.
Yeah, I understand Green Tree Borough, that's the other, like Poplar, I believe has,
Yeah, we would, the plan right now, unless council would choose to do so, would not be to go with box curbs on the interior residential streets.
So the ones that don't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
Is my understanding. Like my street has no sidewalks. It's a
Yeah.
whole curb.
But even if you had a sidewalk on an interior residential road, a regular residential road, we would not put a box curb there.
I think we need to think about it.
We can,
If
for
the
sure.
sidewalk has a box curb, I'm not sure if we should move away from the box curb.
Oh, I would not do that. That is
Wouldn't do
no,
that.
yeah, that is.
Even if it's in an interior borough maintained.
Exactly, no, we would not, if there's a box curb there, it's typically there for a reason. Okay, so. Again, that project will begin, early October. We just had a pre-construction, conference with, PennDOT today. There will be some disruptions along Green Tree Road while that project takes place, all of which has been cleared through PennDOT. Just a reminder, well, let's say, so I did already mention that the full bathhouse received a $65,000 grant. And then we also received a grant in the amount of $26,000 for ADA programs. We identified probably about 28 a few years back, and every year we do as many as we can with the grant funding that we get, just to kind of make sure that those are in good condition. And then just lastly, farmers markets through the end of October. I know at this time of the year, once summer's over, it doesn't seem like, I think it kind of moves off the mind of people, but there's a lot of vendors still coming every Thursday, food trucks. This week, I believe it's a Hearn's food truck that specializes in gyros and funnel cakes, so that sounds pretty good. So, hopefully everybody will remember to get out and support the farmers market.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Do we have a motion?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. This meeting is adjourned at 9:03 PM. Thank you, everybody.